Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, and we gotta talk about something absolutely heinous in this video. How about some insane system requirements? For 1080p 60 frames per second, you will need 32 gigabytes of RAM for 007 First Light. And honestly, these system requirements as a whole is pretty funny. When the official account for a relatively big budget AAA title is putting out system requirements with parts that don't even exist and getting community noted, yeah, that's a little insane. But obviously, the big thing to highlight here is the RAM requirement for 1080p gaming and recommended PC hardware requirements being put out, and those capping out at 1080p as well. We'll talk about that, but man, first of all, we gotta talk about the disaster with 007 First Light. Now, recently I've been doing videos about trying to shift perspective a little bit on the situation as far as PC hardware prices, RAM prices being crazy, GPU prices being crazy as well, and things seemingly not getting better in the foreseeable future. And one of the points I made is that, dude, you could still get by with mid-level hardware, and you don't need, 32 gigs of RAM. And while 007 First Light, its minimum requirement is 16 gigabytes of RAM, that is noted to be for 1080p at 30 frames per second. If you want to play at 1080p at 60 frames per second, that is a 32 gigabyte RAM requirement, which is kind of absolutely heinous. And I would say that this is more so pointing towards the game being unoptimized rather than 32 gigs of RAM really being needed to run this game for the way it looks. And I think it's a good looking game. Don't get me wrong. I think 007 First Light is a good looking game. However, I look at games that came out 5, 6, 7 years ago and look at how they look like, and then look at the games we're getting these days. Are they that much better looking where 32 gigabytes of recommended RAM should be warranted for 1080p gaming? No! In no way they are that much better looking, and I feel like the only thing that's happened is that the PC performance requirements have gone way up, and the standard of the PC ports, the optimization quality has gone way down, and it's not a one-size-fits-all. There are still great PC ports that come out, Stellar Blade, for example, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, incredibly well-optimized games. However, there are so many instances where I am left looking at something like this, and I'm like, yo, this is insane. And I did the exact same thing with Monster Hunter Wilds when we saw that game system requirements, but read the tea leaves a little bit, you guys, especially in the case of this game when the specifications are being put out and they are putting in hardware requirements that for hardware that doesn't even exist. The Intel Core i5 9500K isn't a real CPU. That is the minimum CPU requirement. The 9600K exists, and then they also list the RTX 3060 Ti as the recommended PC GPU. But they also list 12 gigabytes of VRAM as the recommended VRAM requirement. Guys, the 3060 Ti does not come in a 12 gigabyte variant. So why is this the case that this is happening? To me, I don't believe that this is going to be a super optimized PC version, and this is going to be one of the bigger stories to watch for in 2026. It's not necessarily about just the hardware prices going up, but let's keep an eye on these PC versions and let's call them out when it's fit to call them out. 32 gigabytes of RAM for 1080p 60 frames per second for a game that it looks good, you guys. I'm not gonna disagree that it doesn't look good, but no way should it be requiring 32 gigabytes of RAM for this level of visuals at 1080p. Now, to be fair, the other requirements are actually not that crazy. 1080p 30 FPS, you're looking at a GTX 1660 and an RX 5700, like that's whatever. 1080p at 60 FPS, you're looking at an RTX 3060 Ti and a AMD RX 6700 XT. Which, again, why are recommended PC requirements capping out at 1080p at 60 frames per second? What are we going to need to play this game at 4K, which a lot of people want to play this game at? To me, that's an incredibly lazy way to do system requirements as well. I've been talking about it for years and years as far as any game that rolls out system requirements with 2 tiers of system requirements, especially for marquee titles and AAA games. What are we doing here in the year 2026 where this is still okay, where this is still what you want to do? And the tweet specifically lists the PC specs for 007 First Light are here. Yeah, we're still a couple months away from the release of the game, and they could easily roll out the 4-tier, the 6-tier requirements structure, but why would you have the requirements come out in 2 tiers and make a big deal about it, and then also roll the requirements out as 4 tiers and 6 tiers sometime down the line? And the reality is also 1.2 million views on this tweet, and they're getting absolutely cooked in the comments section because I think people are expecting this to be an unoptimized mess. And we've got 4 months till the game comes out. It was supposed to be out in March, maybe best case scenario for them to delay the game, but how much optimization are they going to do over the course of the next 4 months? And this is what I've been saying in videos over and over again when it comes to optimization of these PC games. You're talking about GPU price points going up, but guys, the value in return of you buying a high-end GPU, I feel like has never been lower, in the sense that it might be me being a prisoner of the moment. Sometimes that does happen, and it's recency bias, but I really do feel like all my years PC gaming, 2025 was one of the absolute biggest abominations of a year that I've seen for PC hardware and PC performance, I should say, with a lot of these Unreal Engine 5 garbage releases. And look, I was there for Batman Arkham Knight. I was there for Assassin's Creed Unity. 2023, I was there for Star Wars Jedi Survivor into Last of Us Part 1. But really, 2023 till now, I just feel like we've seen an even bigger rise of some of these PC versions being absolute trash tier. And I'm so curious on how, Neo 3 is gonna run, how Resident Evil Requiem is gonna run, how Crimson Desert is gonna run, and all of those games. And I'm sure some of them are gonna be fairly well optimized. Resident Evil Requiem I'm kind of confident with, just because RE has always been pretty decent on PC. But then I look at a 007 First Light, 32 gigabytes for 1080p at 60 frames per second. What are the 1440p requirements? What are the 4K requirements? Is this utilizing DLSS? Is this utilizing FSR? We just don't know, because they won't be transparent with this information, and that is one of my biggest issues with these system requirements as well. The level of transparency that's offered in some instances is absolutely in the toilet, and none more egregious than what happened with Borderlands 4, where they were willing to sell you the game. They got your money for it. The game comes out. People play the game for a couple hours so that refund window expires. Then a couple hours after the game comes out, people are like, hey, the performance has some real issues. Oh, at 5 p.m. on launch day, after the game has been out for a significant amount of hours, people expiring that 2-hour window for refunds, here comes Gearbox. Here's our optimization guide for the game. Why is the optimization guide coming out the day of launch of the game, and also hours after people started playing it and have expired the 2-hour refund window on Steam? Either that is just an absolutely ridiculous oversight by Gearbox, or you did it with malicious intent. I am led to believe that that is the case. Why is it that Spider-Man 2 had little to no clarity on how that game was going to run, how that game was going to perform, the optimization for that game, and Sony didn't talk about that game whatsoever? And then, oh, would you look at that? That game is absolutely abysmal on PC. But when it comes to Stellar Blade, they could do the whole extravagant rollout on, oh, this is all the requirements you're gonna need. Here's a trailer to hype up the PC release. And you get what I'm saying? These publishers know when these games are poorly optimized. And then when it comes to these requirements, I was on the jump with Monster Hunter Wilds, and I got a lot of heat for it as well when I was making videos about that game 4 to 5 months before it came out, talking about the requirements and how it was a red flag. Guys, you could see it, and it's obvious, and hopefully more people are being keenly aware about it, and they won't just blindly defend a game just because it's of an IP that you like. And I don't think 007 is that necessarily in the year 2026, but it is a game that I think looks good. Like, I'm genuinely excited for this game, and I'm hoping for the best out of it. But 32 gigs for 1080p? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are the 1440p requirements? What are the 4K requirements? 4 months out, we better get some clarity on this, and at the very least, edit the 9500K, edit the 3060 Ti. That'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate it if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.